My name is Mike Renick. I'm the senior broker, the team lead with Team Renick Real Estate Services. We're part of that great Keller Williams and the Water family, serving the west coast of Florida, predominantly located in Sarasota, Bradenton, and of course, all the islands. It's Monday, August 13th. I'm back from my trip out on the west coast. Last Monday, I shared the market data with you from the hotel room, so wasn't dressed as formally and we still had the right data, but wasn't wearing the shirt and tie. So it's good to be back in the office. I learned a lot of things out there. I was able to interact with 5,500 of the best agents in the nation, and we got an opportunity not only to learn from them, we also had an opportunity to share. So what we're going to do, let me hit a couple of buttons here and go to full screen. And so my coverage plan, when we look at the data, this is the second Monday. We're going to look at area prices that are falling or rising, and we're seeing a mixed bag right now. Things are starting to change. Do I feel there's going to be a downturn in the market? Not in the next few months, but things aren't going to be as given as they were in the past. We'll talk a little bit more about that. So on the first Monday, we're going to look in terms of the trends we see in area sales, and what does that mean to you as a buyer or seller? On the second Monday, which is today, we'll look at prices. Are they rising or falling? If you're a buyer or seller, how do we handle that so you still get the best deal that you're looking for? Inventory is an important part of it, and we'll look at that on the third Mondays. And on the fourth Mondays, what's the time frame it's taking to get things sold? And we can leverage that many, many different ways. So the key is, what does this mean to you? Now, in the next few minutes, I'm going to show the overall markets, Manatee and Sarasota County, and I've selected a few cities. The key is taking this down to your area, all the way down to a homeowners association if it's a subdivision, or a condo association. There are many properties scattered throughout that one, prices are rising, and right next door prices are falling. There's reasons for that. Your agent needs to be prepared. They need to have this data. They need to be able to review that with you so we can strategize. Doesn't matter whether you're a buyer or a seller. To leverage the best possible deal, this is where everyone starts. So we're going to look at average per square foot. And the reason I do for that, I look at that, it's very simple. The average square foot, price per square foot, is nothing more than the average sold prices divided by the average sold listings, the square footage of the listings. So it's price divided by square footage overall in terms of what's happened in the last 30 days. We look at this because it helps establish a market for an average home. Now, there is not an average home. There's a luxury market. There's a close to luxury market. There's a starter home market. There's all kinds of different markets out there. But I found that this metric does the best job of showing the overall market. Again, when we start looking for your property, we want to deep dive right into that subdivision. Are we looking at homes or condos? Are we looking for 3 bedrooms or 2 bedrooms or 4 bedrooms or more? The market is different. So when we look in Sarasota County, we see that the prices are remaining relatively neutral in overall county. The average sold price per square foot was $214. That's up 4.4% from last month. That's up 6.5% from last year. So in Sarasota County, overall, we see a good trend. And you can see the data on the screen. Last year at this time, it was $201 a square foot. Today it's $214. Last month it was $205. The key is, though, depending, houses and condos are different and price points are different. This is just the beginning. If we jump to Manatee County, we see here it's also a neutral market. The average sold price was $172. Now that's down from last month of $185. And if we look at June of last year of $170, it's up a little bit. So we're seeing it's still considered a neutral market. And you see that prices are staying the lowest on the chart in the last year and a half actually, is $169 a square foot. Today we're at $172, staying relatively constant. When we jump down out of the city, we look in Longboat Key, we see $182 per square foot. Last month was $199, so we're down from last month. If we look at last year, it was $183, so almost constant, and that's what they're saying, it's a neutral market, down 8.5% from last month. When we go to last year, though, we see that it was constant from June, July, and August, So this is a trend we're going to want to watch. Is 182 just an aberration, or are we starting to see something significant on Longboat Key? We have to keep our eye on that. When we jump over to Holmes Beach and Bradenton Beach, we see $172 per square foot, down from $185 last month. But when we look at last year of $170, it's up a little bit. So this also would be considered a neutral market. $170 a year ago, hovering in the low 170s for the most part. In January, we saw it up to almost 180, and we see some movement since then. But overall, in the last year, we would say it's still a neutral market. Siesta Key, $214 per square foot, up from $205 last month. June of last year was $201, so it's up in both cases. It's still considered relatively neutral because of the price points are still relatively close. We noticed November was a high point. Things were staying relatively 230 and above for a couple of months, and then they're falling. So we'll keep an eye on Siesta Key as we go forward. In Venice, $182 per square foot. That's up from $170 last month. It's up from $168 last year. So what we would say in Venice, prices are appreciating. Those numbers are significant enough to say we have an upward trend, especially when we're at $168 a year ago. We're at $182, and we see an upward trend all the way through this. So Venice prices is the one area that it's appreciating. Does that mean in all areas of Venice that it's appreciating? Absolutely not. We need to take a deeper dive. If we look at the city of Sarasota at 227, that's up from 221 last month. It's up from 215, but still the numbers are close enough. It's considered a neutral market. And when we look into Bradenton, we look at 159, which is almost a break even from last month. And it's up from 149 from last year, so that's still a neutral market. So most of the areas on a macro level, when we look at the counties and the cities, it's neutral with prices. They're not rising right now. Venice is a little bit different. We see some appreciation there. Again, this is just the beginning. We have to go deeper. We have to truly understand what's happening in the market. So if you're a buyer and prices are increasing, there's certain strategies we would leverage that to combat that for you. If you're a seller, of course, and prices are increasing, we're going to put a strategy in place to really maximize that. We want to get you the highest dollar when we're representing sellers. Conversely, when the market is falling in terms of price, there's certain behaviors we would do on the sell side versus the buy side and so on to leverage that. So this is just a macro look at the data. We break it down 4 times a month on Monday mornings. We look at different aspects in terms of sales numbers, price, inventory levels. If you're trying to sell or buy in a high inventory market, that's one thing. If it's low inventory, it means something different. And also, how long is it taking to get properties sold? So I hope that you find this information valuable. We'll be back again next Monday. We'll talk about the, let's take a look at what we're going to show on next Monday. We'll actually take a look on the third Monday, which will be, I don't have these memorized. Third Monday will be the inventory. Do we see the amount of properties on the market going up, or do we see the amount of properties on the market going down? Feel free to reach out. I'd be happy to prepare an analysis for you, absolutely with no obligation. Our policy is to help you, the client. So if you engage, if you reach out to me or Eric, the 2 brokers that are part of this team, and you're not a current buyer or seller, you just have questions or you want an analysis, we're happy to do that. We'd be honored to do that. We're not going to provide any kind of a sales pitch. We're not going to put pressure on you. Just the fact that you engaged and asked us for something, we're happy to do that. If you have any questions, let me know. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. on my personal page, talking about my progress or lack thereof for my weight loss. And on Wednesday morning, we'll be back with Michael Henkin, a prominent Sarasota-based real estate attorney, talking about some of the latest issues that we face in real estate. I hope you find this information helpful. Please reach out if there's different information that you would like. It's our honor to spend a couple of minutes with you almost every morning at 9 a.m., sharing the latest data, our thoughts, our process, our approach. But remember, at the end of the day, we work for you. And I leave you with just one question. Going forward, how can we continue to be of help? Take care, everyone. Have the best Monday ever. I hope this week going forward is even stronger than that. Thanks, everyone.